right. That's enough of that. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. My name is Paul Abernathy, your host, and welcome to the Let's Ask Paul podcast, where you submit questions to me about the National Electrical Code. And of course, you can do that free of charge. That's right. Even Paul said it, free of charge, by going to paulabernathy.com. Now, that is our unique portal that's sponsored by Wix, where you can submit your question to us and it will come to me directly, and I will answer it either in an email or, if selected, an upcoming podcast. Now, also remember that starting on June 28th, 2023, that we are going to be doing a new live streaming show every Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m. Central Time on all of your favorite social media channels that we're connected to, like our LinkedIn, our Facebooks, our Twitter, Twitch, over on Rumble. It'll be on YouTube, all of those. And basically anywhere you just look for Master the NEC and you'll see us. If you're already following us on all of your normal platforms from YouTube down to Facebook, then guess what? It'll be streamed there. If you want to watch it on our unique platform that is growing rapidly every day, then you can go actually watch it. You don't even have to sign up, although I wish you would, over on FastTrax Tube. That's FastTraxTube.com. You can listen to our show there and watch it for free. You don't even have to be a member, but we would think it behooves you to become a member. And if you use a coupon code 25OFF at checkout, you'll get $25 off your annual subscription. And it's a great way to say thank you for all of the stuff that we try to provide for you. So again, if you're interested there, that's where all of our videos are going to be moving forward with the 2023. All of the exclusive stuff will only be there. So make sure you're there or be square. Okay. All right, folks, we have a great show for you tonight. We are going to be looking at two questions that were submitted through the portal. And I think they're beneficial for everybody because, again, sometimes some of the easiest things that we think about can cause confusion. And my goal is to take something that is complicated for folks and try to make it as easy as it can be. That's why people come back and listen to our podcasts over and over. That's why people watch our videos. And this is kind of why we do what we do. And our Fast Tracks program, if you're not a Fast Tracks student, our Fast Track program is a structured learning program to teach you the National Electrical Code from the very beginning to the very end. We like to say cradle to grave, all about the NEC, how to maneuver it. And then, of course, you can join us on the Wednesday nights that are going to be streaming live on June 28th, and you'll just get so much more. They work together as a package, and it's just an amazing thing. If you want more information on becoming a Fast Track student and supporting us while we help you grow, then just go to fasttracksystem.com. That's FastTraxSystem.com, and you'll get more than enough information. Watch some of the demos, and you'll really get a better understanding on what the course is all about. All right, let's get into tonight's episode. So we have a question that was submitted through the portal. And I'm going to tell you up front, I looked at this question and there's some stuff missing. So whoever wrote this question, let me give you some advice. And I want to answer your question. I'm going to do my best. But there's so many variables that come into play here, and you're not giving all of the information. So what happens is people come out of a test and they can't really remember everything that was on the question. They only remember pieces of it, and then they try to regurgitate it. And it's really hard. And sometimes it does you a disservice by trying to get into your head, because if you leave some of the information off, it can totally change the answer. So let me go on and read the question, and you'll kind of see that there's some information that is lacking here, but we'll do our best to try to dissect something for you, at least give you direction. How about that? Because I want to give you some direction here. So, okay, it says, here's my question. It says, hello, I had a question on my code test and I failed it. Said the 65 amps, 75 degree Fahrenheit, 10.6 THW, the maximum demand factor is ? It says, if that makes sense. I can't figure it out. What video do I watch? Thanks. Okay, so the first thing here is you've got some information missing. Now we get it, you said 65 amps, 75 degree Fahrenheit, but typically 65 amps for the 6 gauge is what you're asking about, is going to be under the 75 degree C column. Okay, so that's typically the first thing. Now you didn't give a condition of use, whether it's a wet or dry, because THW is listed under both 75 and 90. So you didn't really give us the condition. So we're going to have to figure that 75 degrees Fahrenheit is really supposed to be 75 degrees Celsius. And so we're going to solve this question the first way by saying, because it's only asking for what's the maximum demand factor. So we're going to try to solve it the way we think you want it to be solved. So it's 65 amps. If you go to table 31016, which is the ampacity table in the 2020 edition of the National Electrical Code, you'll notice that under the 6 gauge is good for 65 amps under the 75 degree column. Now, so taking out the fact that you said 75 degrees F when I think you meant C, we're going to look at it from that perspective as if you're just talking at 65 amps at 75 degrees C. Okay. So now if that's the case, that 65 amp rated conductor under the 75 degree column is going to be reduced in ampacity because of what's called mutual heating from all these bundled conductors. And so that's going to take you to table 31015C1. That C is in Charlie 1. And that is the adjustment factors for more than 3 current carrying conductors. Now, it didn't really say in here that they were current carrying conductors or not, but typically these kind of questions are asking for that. So we're going to have to assume that it's current carrying conductors, right? So that detail was left out, but sometimes that can be left out in exams. They just assume you know that they're all going to be carrying current, which may or may not be the case. But anyway, if you're doing this, it's pretty simple. If you have 10 6s in this raceway, and we assume it's a raceway because they didn't say that in the question anywhere. If I have 10 6 THHWs in the raceway, then I'm going to go to, and we know the ampacity is 65 amps because of the 75 degree column in 31016, the table. Then if you go to 31015C1, you'll notice that the number of conductors, 10 to 20, that the percentage, or basically your demand value, is 50%. So that means a conductor that is 65 amps has approximately half that amount of current carrying ability due to mutual heating. So it's 32.5 amps. So those conductors are effectively been reduced from 65 amps of current carrying ability down to 32.5 amps of current carrying ability. Okay, that's what the conductor now has. Because of that mutual heating, because of the bundling, but because of the results of table 31015C1. Okay, so on your exam, they could have, if they were asking you for percentages or values, then your answer would have been 50%. Okay, because that's what's in 31015C1 for 10 6s. And it started out at 65 amps, but now it's good for 32.5 amps. Each conductor, by the way. Okay, now let's take this in a different direction and get kind of funky with it, right? If this question actually said that it's 65 amps and maybe it was 75 degree Fahrenheit environment and it was 10 6s, well, then we have to look at it in a different way, right? Because I want to have the ability to potentially use the 90 ampacity for my adjustment and correction. Right? Now, I know the amps are under 100, but the conductor is a THHW. So to verify that, I like to tell people, let's go on and look so we can kind of deconstruct this, because again, not enough information was really given to us, but I like to deconstruct things. Y'all know that. Let's go look and see what it says under table 310.4a for THHW. Let's just go look and see what that says. Okay, for those that have your code book and you go to 310.4 and you'll look at it and you'll start to notice that when you look at THHW, as I said before, there is a wet location rating for 75 and there's a dry location rating for 90. Okay, So this is important. Your question didn't stipulate that. So if it doesn't stipulate that, then we're going to go with the 75 because it is the lesser, the weaker. And of course, since you didn't give terminal limitations on any of the terminations, then we'll follow the rules in 110.14c1a. And then we'll go down and say, well, since it is marked THHW, then we're able to use the 75. So we follow that logic train. So that's how it got us into the 75. But nothing in your question can get me personally, can get me to the 90 degrees C to be able to use that value for the adjustment. I just can't get there. So that's why I'm locked at the 75. Okay, makes sense? All right, so when looking at that, I'm going to have to say, well, it's 75. And I did mine from the 75. Now, if it's 65 amps and the ambient temperature is 75 degrees Fahrenheit, then we're going to incorporate a different table. Okay, we're going to be looking at, and let me get it up on here, we're going to be looking at 310. All right, hold on, let me pull it back up. We're going to be looking at 310.15b1 because that is the ambient temperature correction. And so this says 75 degrees Fahrenheit. So if we look down the Fahrenheit scale, that we see that it's 69 to 77, and we would be using 1.05 as our ambient correction. Now you notice that means that it's below the 86 degrees Fahrenheit, which is what table 310.16 is all about. So you're actually going to get some extra amps because of the cooling effect. Okay, so if we did it that way, we'd be plugging it a little bit different in how we would do this. Okay, we would do 65 times, and that would be times 1.05 times 50, 0.50. Okay, and that's how we would do it in order to see what that conductor actually is. So let's kind of do that and see what it is. And that's just the conductor. That's not what your question asks. Because your question asks, what is the maximum demand factor? And I believe we've already done that because I believe that 75F was supposed to be 75C for 65 amps because that makes more sense. But I'm playing the devil's advocate here just so you learn the question and it's how important it is to give me the details. We're going to assume that 75 degrees F is the ambient and see what it comes out at. And if we do the math, it actually comes out to 34.12. So not a big difference from 32.5 to 34. You got a little bit more because it was a cooler ambient. It was lower than the 30 degrees Celsius, 86 degrees Fahrenheit, right? Again, that's really not what your question was. And I believe that the question was basically 65 amps at 75 degrees C, 10 6 gauges, THHW in a raceway. What's the demand factor? And it should be 50%. That's what I think your question was. Now, at the end of the day, if you want to learn how I did all those things and you're asking about a video, then the best thing you can do is go over to Fast Tracks Tube and get an annual subscription. It is $125 a year. It's a way of saying thank you for all that we do, and I appreciate every bit of it. And you get access to videos, and we're constantly going to be adding new videos, like the derating demystified is getting redone. But that's the video you want to watch, is derating demystified. And it's over there in the 2.0 version, and it's only available to annual subscribers of fasttrackstube.com. That's our video platform. If you're interested in watching that video, you're going to get out of it. But I tell you, for your money, you're also going to get a 12 hours of grounding and bonding series. You're going to get a pool and swimming pool series that me and Vince did that we're also planning to update that as well. Hopefully I get Vince out here and we can get an updated edition for 2023 because there's so many changes. There's other videos over there by other well-known educators like Ryan Jackson, Mike Holt. Others are being added all the time. It is a repository of videos, and we're really making it something that's going to grow and give you the ability to go there to get trusted videos, trusted resource, none of the other BS that floats around on YouTube, but real trusted electrical sources all in one location, and that's what Fast Tracks Tube's all about. So you can go there, get a subscription, look for Derating Demystified, And that's going to tell you everything you need to know about adjustment and corrections. But I've tried to dissect your question, and since it's only asking about the maximum demand factor and it talks about 10 sixes, that's why I sent you to 310.15C1, and that's why the answer would be 50%. But I also worked it out as if it was 75 degrees Fahrenheit ambient and how you would do that as well, because that means you would go to table 310.15B1. Okay, that sounds confusing? Then you need to watch the derating demystified video, folks. All right, so hopefully I answered that question for you. Great question. Only thing I ask from people for exam questions, please try your best to be specific. I get it. When you leave an exam, it's hard to remember things, but I need the details. The details matter. Is it a wet location? Is it a dry location? Is it in a raceway? Is what cycle, what edition of the code you're on? All of the details matter because I want to get you the best answer possible. That's it. I can't read your mind and I can't read what these other people put on tests. So I do my best. So hopefully you got something out of that, folks. Until next time, stay safe. God bless. And remember, go listen to us on all of your favorite podcasting listening stations. Till next time, stay safe. God bless.